morning. I'm J. Lenora Bressler, and welcome to the June 22nd, 2017 edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. From the cross, Christ said, "Into thy hands I commit my spirit." Many people know that he said that. Fewer people know that he was actually quoting from Psalm 31, verse 5. Psalm 31 is a fascinating psalm to read once you know that, because Christ was on the cross going back to the comfort that he knew was available to him and to every child of God in the promises of Scripture. When he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" That was just the beginning of a psalm that is a messianic psalm that is very, very clear that all of the things that Christ was going through at that moment, including the actual crucifixion that he was suffering, had been prophesied. So it was him reminding himself that as bad as things were, everything was moving according to plan. And there is a beautiful ending to the psalm that begins, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" But we'll talk about that on another day. Today, we're talking about Psalm 31. Psalm 31 is a wonderful psalm to read, again, knowing that it was one of the last things on Christ's mind right before his death on the cross. It is a beautiful psalm in which the psalmist is asking God to defend him and is confident that he will, because he has placed his trust in God and because God will do this for his own honor, for his own glory. And that includes being sure that those who do put their faith and trust in God, who are known for that, who have gone on the record as saying, "I believe and I support the Lord," they will not be brought to ultimate shame. Things may look bad, things may look bleak, but ultimately they will be shown to have been correct and to be the honorable servants that they were trying so desperately to be. In verses 3 and 4 of that psalm, Christ is quoting that, in his mind he is on the cross, even though he doesn't say the whole thing. He says the first part of that. So you know that it was on his mind. But in verses 3 and 4, the psalmist says that the Lord is my rock and my refuge. He says that several times actually in the psalm. You know, when most of us today think about a rock, we think about it as being an obstacle, something barren, and maybe something that needs to be moved out of the way in order to build a building, something you might trip over, etc. But in the ancient world, a rock, like a large boulder, which is the word that's being used here in the Hebrew, was truly a place of refuge. Oftentimes, if you were out in the wilderness landscape and there was a storm of some kind, you could shelter, you could kind of buckle down underneath, hunker down, as they say, beneath and behind a rock. Also, these very large boulders provided shade in the middle of the day from the heat and the oppressive bearing down of the sun. Many times rocks were on high places, and if you were in danger of a prey, an animal coming after you, preying on you, you could get the upper hand by getting behind or under or beside a rock, and it would give you some protection, some defensive protection, and also allow you to fight from behind the rock. So when you think about God as our rock, think about it from the standpoint of a wilderness people and how they would view rocks, probably very differently than the modern people generally do. It was a great help and a great comfort. God is always our rock, our refuge, our comfort, and ultimately the defender of his honor and ours. I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Visit me tomorrow on the next edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. Have a great day.